sports. It's in the game.
Hello and welcome from the Bahrain International Circuit here in Sakhir. Down on the grid, the engineers are making their last checks, and today's race will be underway shortly. Plenty of opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit for these young F2 drivers to show what they can do. The best passing opportunity right up there at turn 1, and we should see plenty of action there. But there's another not long after at turn 4. There are 9 right-handers and 6 left-handers, and the possibility that we could see some flat spots at the tightest of those left-handers, that's turn 10. Davide, you're a 3-time winner around here in 1 week, I believe, back in 2012. How on earth do you make the tyres last around this track? They degrade so quickly.
To be honest, the key to the race is having a good start so you can get your car into a good position. Then save the tires as much as you can and push just at the end.
Hello everybody and welcome to F1 22. I am stupidly excited for this series to essentially become a thing here, Fridays and Saturdays, as we're just starting the formation lap here. This is the Formula 2 series, this is the driver career as well, so for Formula 2 it's going to be the sprint race and then the feature race. So the sprint race is a bit shorter than the feature race, which should be self-explanatory in its own right. I believe, I can't remember if I actually had it applied or not, but if anything, the mod for the real sponsor boards will be in the link in the description below, and it is absolutely incredible. You can run with that online, which I absolutely love, so if you don't have accurate sponsor boards and run online, well, go to the link below and you'll find the person that I got that from, essentially. It's posted on Race Department for free. Now, the one thing I love about F1 22 is that we can line up in our grid slot manually, and we get the perfect grid lineup as we see the 5 red lights. As they go out, we go racing for the first time in F1 22 in the driver career, and it is a wonderful, well, semi-chaotic start, technically speaking. Everyone is all over the place. We're just riding here in the back trying to figure out where to go. I decide, you know, we're going to go straight to the outside here and not try and push it too much, but at the same time, we really don't go anywhere right up until the exit of turns 3 and 4, and they just barely make contact. Not much damage to the front wing, though, luckily, so we are actually lucky on that. Our end plate is still, well, pretty much there. It's relatively intact, and I didn't really feel much of a difference anyway on these opening corners, but my gosh, it is a mad scramble just trying to figure out pretty much where to go, really, and who not to hit as well, which is, well, pretty much everybody. So we're going to try and dive it up the inside, making it 3 wide, but this is only for about 18th, 19th position, so it's really not going to mean much. We score points inside the top 10 as we go to the outside. Get sent on the inside, actually, but we're going to hold our own on the right-hand side, bring it out of the corner, and we pretty much gain a couple positions, which isn't too bad, but at the same time, it's pretty bad considering, well, we're stuck in the back for the time being. So not the best opening lap, not the worst opening lap, but you know what, we survived with minimal front wing damage, so I will take that. Just run away as quickly as possible. So 12 laps for the sprint race and then 16 laps for the future race.
Let's focus now for the rest of the race.
And the new thing for F1 22 as well is the AI behavior. So we don't have DRS just yet, but we're going to make a lunge up the right-hand side to Bahrain, who actually gives us room. The AI is a bit more aware of where you are at in the space, which I greatly appreciate because, oh my gosh, but at the same time, the trade-off is that they are stupidly aggressive sometimes. As we're going to see Bahrain here go up the right-hand side, just maybe he'll try it. Sits there, then sends it up the inside under braking, but also sends it up into Zendelli. Surprisingly, they don't make any contact right ahead of us, but this slows us up so much as Bahrain gets the position ahead of us. Zendelli's going to try and make the move. Again, there's no DRS, drag reduction system. That's where the where the rear wing opens up after 2 completed laps, after a race start or after a safety car. For a virtual safety car, the DRS is pretty much reactivated immediately. as we go ahead and see us get very loose, nearly sent up the inside, and a bit of contact on our side pod, but we managed to hang on to it. That's the downside of these cars riding so low. That was a Samaya behind us. Might send it up the left-hand side, decides against it, luckily for the AI. They're so notorious there for sending it up the left-hand side. Luckily, they're a bit calmer for the most part, as there we see DRS is now enabled, so out of turn number 2 and into that first DRS zone, technically the second one, I guess, we're going to be getting some DRSs. There's a bit of contact ahead of us. I think it's Armstrong, the Dams team, making a bit of contact. We get ahead of Zendelli, and we still get DRS. As we ride on boards, Nisani that made contact sends it big time into the corner, loses his front wing end plate. And that will be slowing him up quite significantly as we skip ahead towards Sector 2, as we're going to send up the inside of Armstrong. At least I plan to, but, well, I thought I had underbody damage.
Front wing is going to need replacing if it takes too much damage. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
And luckily we don't have any damage. You can get under floor damage essentially in the F2 car, so we sit behind Armstrong here. We go to the right, fake him out to the left-hand side to try and pass him on the outside of the final corner, and it just sort of works as we nearly make contact. Again, this is only for 17. Luckily Mark is happy with that. But he also reminds us that our teammate is significantly far ahead as we cut to an exterior shot here on the entry to the corner as we get sent on the inside contact. No damage again somehow, but a bit aggressive by the AI there as we somehow managed to hang on to it. But we're still going to be under fire as we don't have DRS down this straightaway. Trying to fight back on the outside, and we just managed to do that with a bit of a better exit. Still side by side, we force him out wide just a little bit, and luckily we managed to keep that position away from Zendelli. We're fighting like it's for the lead, but this is only for 17th. This isn't for points. Points is in the top 10 as we get sent on by Samino, and we have damage. We have side pod damage. I don't know why the AI decided that was a good idea to send it, but that just doesn't go well. Samina locks up, goes up to the outside, the huge left front lockup. And we're at a huge aero disadvantage right now. We're at everything disadvantage, really. As we see here, just get sent on, unfortunately. I don't know why the AI thought that was a good idea, but, well, apparently in the AI's mind it was. So lap 5 going into turn number 1 now as we get nearly brake checked essentially by Zendelli. Here comes Sato up our right hand side. We squeeze him off the track, nearly lose it, open our DRS. This is only lap 5 of 12 and it's a sprint race and we're racing like this for 17th. Now I'm not complaining about that because this is insanely fun, but the one thing I'm complaining about is the damage.
Okay, careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. The side pods have taken damage. Keep an eye on your engine temperatures. Cooling may be adversely affected. Okay, we think the underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
You know, I'm glad throughout all the damage that we have, our tire wear is doing just absolutely fantastic right now, as apparently Jack Aitken has some sort of an issue. I'm not sure what. He's slow contact with our teammate Piastri. He'll have to pit for that. His front wing is absolutely pretty much half gone, as Jack Aitken is out of the race. But the thing is here, since he's so far off the track, there's not enough debris. It's not a full course caution. It's not a safety car. It's not a virtual safety car. We don't get any type of a break here for our tires. That's kind of it. So if Piastri does end up pitting, we'll have to race for, well, we're going to be racing for essentially a net P15. And that's if he pits, and he does.
Oscar's coming in for his stop now.
So that means we're going to be racing for what is essentially 15th place. But again, points are in the top 10, not the top 15. So we're going to have to be clawing our way at least to some kind of stability in terms of positions, because we can't really do anything here. I decided not to send it on Zendelli because we still have half the race left, and also I have a stupid amount of damage here. But unfortunately, as we get the worst corner exit ever, it will be stagnant for the next 3 laps, so really we don't see any kind of difference until lap 9, when again we mess up the corner exit. And here comes Sato all of a sudden up our right-hand side. I was so busy being focused on Zandelli trying to chase him down that I never noticed that Sato was catching up. Our teammates, that's the fastest lap of the race, luckily, but right here it's like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to back off and I'll follow Sato up to see if I can catch up to Zandelli, but the tires, again, showing how much they're worn, how much I've been pushing them, which is essentially a bit too much. So now it was stagnant again. There's nothing to do. There's really nothing knowable until here, the final lap of our sprint race, where we have two drivers, well, four drivers battling for two different positions, if that even makes sense. I don't think it does, to be honest, but who knows. I'm just a guy who's racing, essentially. We have no pressure from Deletta outside. There's our tire wear. It is absolutely awful, but I still know that it's enough to at least push for the next, at least maybe two positions, if not 16th, just something where we don't finish in 17th, because I've been in 17th for the past 3-4 laps, essentially. I want some kind of a change to at least give me that bit of morale boost. I know it's not for points. I know there's no points until the top 10, but just some kind of a difference, something to help me, you know, at least know that this car can perform. But to be fair, it's Formula 2. These cars are all relatively the same. You know, it's a spec series, so it all comes down to how the driver is going to be using the car to their advantage. And I try to use our car to the advantage, but with this kind of an exit, I snap once, almost twice on corner exit, trying to at least get by Zandelli. I know he's right there. It's 2 corners left. We get just on the rear gearbox, essentially, almost on top of the rear tires. Zandelli gets a better exit. Do I decide to send it here is what I'm thinking. Do I send it? Do I try and risk the car? No, I try and just go for the normal racing line. Can I get a better exit? I'm right on top of the gearbox for 16th, but it's not going to happen. It's 17th for us in the sprint race and our debut race in Formula 2.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So with a finish like that, it's not exactly the worst result, but it's not exactly the best result. But both of us, me and Piastri, have not really had the best race, both due to damage. And there's the top 14. Top 8 in the sprint race get the points, and the top 8 in the feature will get points. So let's see the starting grid.
Well then, after an exciting session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. A fantastic effort from Richard Verschoor yesterday puts him on pole position, with Felipe Drugovich alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Deruvala, Ticktum, Yuri Vips, and Piastri, Lundgaard, Viscal, Lawson, Jack Aitken, Fittipaldi, Pourchaire, Marcus Armstrong, and Beckman, Nissani, Joe, Samaya, and Larim Zendelli, Boschon, Deleda, the Rainmaster, and Marino Sato completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So if I remember correctly, it's going to be the top 8, or if not the top 10, that get inverted for the feature race. But, well, regardless, everyone else starts where they qualified, which means we get to start in the fun position of 21st and go absolutely nowhere. This time I actually managed to get a slight idea of what I want to do for the main race start. Again, a perfect lineup. The 5 red lights activate, and it's away we go, and we actually get a wonderful start, a fantastic start compared to the sprint race. Everyone is scrambled all over the place once again. I'm hoping Nissani doesn't come over. He doesn't, and we managed to just hold it strong. Tried to look to the left-hand side. I thought, well, this might be a bad idea, but now we're committed to it. And just like that, we go from 21st to 16th in the span of 3 corners. Samina, we go up on the right-hand side, and we see Zhou Guan Yu directly ahead of us. We're going to follow him through right next to Fittipaldi, as both of them battle side by side ahead of us. I'm trying to squeeze Teo Pourchaire just a little bit, trying to get him off the racing line, trying to get him away from the side of my car, and we just managed to hang on to it, dive up the inside, at least very gently dive up the inside of Fittipaldi, since we do have the space to do that. especially with all the space on the right-hand side. So now we're just going to try and focus on holding station as Viscal goes wide. He locks up the left front, supposedly. Fittipaldi apparently passed him in the caution zone, and we're going to have to get the position back. We must have passed Fittipaldi just at the very end of the zone of the yellow flag sector, essentially. So unfortunately, we're stuck in 13th still. But on the bright side, we don't have damage, and we're in 13th. We're actually in line for points almost. At least partially, but, you know, it's just a matter of staying behind Fittipaldi, trying to not do things like that and actually stay on the track. Even Mark thinks the start was fine, so cut to the next lap, catching up to Fittipaldi through the second sector, trying to get around top of the gearbox, go to the left, and just decide, you know what, I'm just going to sit here and wait. Apparently there's a caution up ahead as well. Someone's having a problem. I think it's Jack Aiken again. No, it's Dan Ticktum. Ticktum with the issue. I have flashbacks to what happened just the last time, so I let Fittipaldi by. And apparently that's what I should have done in the first place. So Ticktum's out. He's off the track. No safety car, no virtual safety car. And again, the next lap on top of the gearbox Fittipaldi, we follow him through again because there's not much to do, but this time we do have DRS to our advantage should we need it. Should Fittipaldi not get it, though, into the DRS detection zone here throughout the corner. We're going to find out as we activate our DRS. Fittipaldi doesn't have DRS, which means we can actually just maybe, possibly, go up the left-hand side, try and make an attempt. He brakes early, and we make the move stick, at least up until corner exit, where he makes contact with us. And we keep going. We don't have damage, but looking at the replay here, look at the gear for Fittipaldi. He doesn't shift up to 6th. He stays in 5th gear. Now, granted, we did leave the racing surface technically, so that is on us. But at the same time, Fittipaldi should have expected us to come back onto the track. But regardless, lap 4, turn 1 gets set on by Pourchaire, who comes up out of nowhere. Didn't mean for that to rhyme now that I realize I've said that out loud, but regardless, awful corner exit number 527 for the weekend, apparently. Lap 4 of 16 for Fittipaldi, right on our left side, right side, correction. We go wide. I think he made contact with us, but I genuinely can't remember, but, well, that's it up until the point of pit stops. There's pretty much nothing. It was all stationary. We held off Fittipaldi, we stayed behind Pourchaire, and we decide, yeah, we're going to see where our teammate is.
0.1 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. They're in second, and the time last lap was at 1:42.9.
So with that, I decide, yeah, it's definitely a good idea to come into pit road, regardless of whether or not my teammate pits a Piastri. So do the opposite of Piastri is what my thought process was. And coming into pit entry, I think, all right, 80 kilometers, and it's like, no, it's 60 kilometers. As we have the new immersive, air quotes, pit stop, basically just a button press, and then it's still the same as usual. So a bit salty about that. A great pit stop by the crew until here when we get stuck for a solid 3 seconds for some reason. We could have gone out a long time before that. For Armstrong, who we pass in pit road, I don't know why they didn't let me out directly after Armstrong, but that screws us over, so we're back to 11th again. I'm not sure why, as we see, oh, that's a spin on corner exit. I mean, it's fine, it's relatively off the racing track, but the cars are stacked up on the surface. And that's it. That's not it, actually. No, a safety car deployed, so we actually get a break for once. We actually have a line for, we actually have a shot for points here. We're in line for points, so I'm trying to say. So, hey, look, it's Pourchaire again. We've been seeing him throughout the entire race. Same with Fittipaldi, partially Zhou Guanyu, as well as Roy Nassani. So, trying to keep my tires up to temperature, but look at the lap counter. Lap 14, when we go green, it will be lap 15. Now, why does that matter? Because when we go green, there's going to be no DRS. We don't have enough laps for DRS.
Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature. And remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
So at this point, it's a matter of just trying to get the best possible position, defend if possible, which should be easy, but we don't have overtake in the Formula 2 cars. We don't have any battery, we don't have hybrid power. We try and get the jump on Porsche, but we can't exactly go side by side as we go back green flag racing once again. Full pelt down the main straightaway at single file. Do we decide to send it on Porsche? We wait. Porsche sends it on Zhou and Beckman and Vips. 3 cars in one corner for Porsche. Somebody decided to send it behind me. I think it was for the Pauly. They made contact, but we're in the points. We're in 10th place. We're going to be earning a pole of 1 point, but it's still points in some form as they stack up in front of us. Vips and Porsche making contact. Beckman in front of us. We're going to be chomping at the bit for these positions, considering we have the advantage of the tires, at least it seems like, considering we are catching up big time to these cars in front, directly on the gearbox of Beckman. Porsche and Vips going to be having a battle of their own, essentially, but right now, it's a matter of staying behind Beckman. Never mind, Beckman locks up. He goes wide. We're in 9th place. We have 2 points, I think, to our name now. So now we have to stay behind Porsche. And here we come to the final lap now of the race.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
We're in the top 10. We're in line for points for our second race, technically of the Formula 2 season. The first round still, since it's, well, a sprint race and a feature race. But around the back gearbox of Porsche, we have the best corner exit we've had so far for the week. They're battling up ahead of us. I think Piastri... Is that Piastri ahead of... It is Piastri ahead of us, actually. He might have damage. There's Christian Lundgaard side by side with Piastri. We try to go to the outside of Porsche, but it's just nothing. We look again. It's not the most ideal line, so we'll sit behind. Now we'll go to the left-hand side. Try and at least think about making it 3 wide with Piastri, but decide, you know what, he's our teammate. That's probably not a good idea. Now we go to left-hand side. Piastri, who squeezes us just barely within track limits. We back off. Porsche sends it up the left-hand side. We give him room, and we stay directly behind our teammate. We're 7th and 8th right now. I think our teammate has a problem.
They're sitting in 7th. Your last lap time was a 1:44.1.
No mention of damage. We send it, and it's a contact between teammates. And I'm absolutely gutted here. Piastri still goes into the racing line. Granted, we sent it right at the last second. We're in the top 10 at least, but we're only going to be earning 1 point at the moment unless we can send it on Zhou Guanyu. If it's even possible, I get flashbacks to last race, the sprint race, and I decide this is the time where we send it if we can. I'm too hesitant though. I don't want to damage the car. I don't want to spin out again, especially with what happened with Piastri. So we'll settle for the 1 measly point.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So luckily for us, we managed to at least bring it home this time in the top 10 in points. There I am. I have 1 point. I mean, granted, Beckman also has 1 point, but still, we have a point. And the total team points for Prema is a whole 7 points. It's not much, but we still got points regardless. But we have Monaco to look forward to essentially later today is when I'll be uploading it. So be on the lookout for that. And I will see you next race.